William Shatner.
Thank you so much, Don. Wow, a lot of people. I'm so glad to see you all here. So, some while ago, I did a one-man show on Broadway.
Really?
And it was done very quickly. I'd been touring in a show. I got a shoelace that's undone. And I don't want to take the time to tie it. So I'm going to leave it there, but let's all acknowledge that I've got a shoe untied. So I did this one-man show. I was touring in a one-man show, and then they said Broadway would like you to, and I went to this, Broadway, I got to rewrote the show, restaged it, and now I had a new show, but I hadn't performed the new show until I got to New York, and I did one advance show, and then the next night was opening night on Broadway in a one-man show. And a one-man show is a one-man show. There's one man, me, and responsible for entertaining people for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that's challenging, okay? And you don't know what it's going to be like. So, and whether they'll accept it, and there were like reviewers there. And I had a limited run, and I needed to fill the theater, and it was filled with responsibility, and I was a little nervous about it. So the night before, went out to dinner with my wife and a friend, and I said, I got to be very careful about what I eat, because, tomorrow morning, I got to get a good night's sleep, and I got this opening. He said, yeah, so I had the fish, and they had the meat and the thing, and I ate very carefully, and the next morning I was sick. Sick to where Dr. Oz, who I had come to know by doing his show, and another doctor who's popular on CBS, were my doctors. Got fluids, got thing, got fan, and it was done. But I was like, I gotta open tonight. I gotta open on Broadway. And this illness wouldn't let me leave the bathroom. I took 5 steps away. I had 6 steps to make it back to the... So you understand the problem. So, curtain goes up, I go on stage, hello, and I'm talking, I'm fine, getting laughs, and suddenly it hits. On Broadway, opening night. I gotta go. That's what I said. And I said, excuse me, folks, there's been a technical difficulty, and we'll be right back. And my technical difficulty took me up the stairs to the bathroom. I had to shower. My wife was tired. I come back on and finish the show. So it was quite an experience to have to go to the toilet opening night and unable to control it. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's ever happened to anybody else. Nobody talks about that. But I continued the tour after Broadway, and then I get to Toronto, and I film it in Toronto with a matinee and an evening performance. So I had this television show, this film on the one-man show, and I never did anything with it. I kind of like, I don't know, I just didn't do anything with it until this month. And what I want to read to you is what I did with it, because it's coming up in a strange way, coming up now, and I'm going to just tell you, it goes, okay, so stuff.io, that's where you got to go. It won't be up for sale for a while, but there's a lot of promotion being involved in it. So I thought I'd tell you about it today. Like it's just, today is like the announcement. No, I gotta go to the bathroom, so. So that was the story about opening night on Broadway. I'll take questions, but how to kind of communicate with you. I went up in space with Blue Origin. I was invited to go. Well, actually, I wasn't quite invited. A friend of mine who's a producer is reading about Blue Origin planning a rocket to go into space. And he said, Bill, it'd be a great idea if you were in the rocket. I said, that's the greatest idea I've ever heard of. And we called Jeff Bezos, the people behind Jeff Bezos, and we fly up to Seattle, to Amazon in Seattle, and because we were invited, and come up with tell us what your idea is. So we go into the lobby, and Bezos comes out to meet us, and in the center of the lobby, under a glass dome, is the Starship Enterprise, the original model. I mean, he was such a Star Trek fan that in this giant office, in one of the great companies in the world, Amazon, in the center of the lobby is a glass dome containing the original model of the Enterprise, which, by the way, was very stark in its ability to do things. A guy had to push it to make it look like it moved. It had a flashlight as a searching beam. I mean, it was very primitive, as was everything technically in Star Trek in those days. But he had bought it somewhere and was using it. So I thought, wow, that's great. And we sit down at a table and we talk about maybe Shatner will go up in the first launch of the Blue Origin rocket, and yeah, mate, good, pretty good, goodbye. And we go back, and COVID hits, and a year goes by. We don't hear from anybody until I read in the newspapers that going up first is Jeff Bezos, his brother, a lady astronaut who didn't get into a spaceship, and a kid, a youngster, an adolescent. I don't know. The mystery is who that kid was. And he disappeared shortly thereafter. and so I realized I'm not going up there. And then I got a phone call, would you like to go up second? Like in a few months. I'm not going to go up second. I want the president, not the vice president. But finally, I think about it some more and I realize it's a chance for an experience that is unique. Who else? 600 people, apparently, have gone up into weightlessness. So I said yes, and it happens. Get down there. I get down there on a Monday, nobody's there. Where are all the other people? Well, they're coming in tomorrow. Well, why am I here now? Alone with 3 or 4 people. Let's drive to the gantry and take a look at the gantry. Oh, okay, let's do it. Well, why do I want to go see them? Okay. And we get in a Rivian electric truck, which Bezos has invested in, and we drive to the gantry where the rocket is going to be. The rocket is being fueled now for tomorrow's, or in a couple of days, launch. And I'm alone with 2 or 3 people at this gantry that goes up 11 flights. And not only is it 11 flights up, but the gantry itself is at 5,000, about 4,500 feet. Is that like where Denver is? Have you ever flown into Denver? and you walk around, you're breathless because it's 5,000 feet high. You're a mile in the air. There is actually, because I used to be a pilot, I'm no longer current, at 12,500 feet, you need additional oxygen. So now you're 5,000 out of that 12,000, you're kind of breathless at 5,000 feet. And they say, let's walk up the gantry, let's go up to the gantry, let's go up and take a look. I said, you want me to walk all the way up there? Okay. I get up 3 flights, and I said, let's take a look at the scenery. And I catch my breath, but another flight, and finally I get to the top. I've been 11 flights up at 5,000 feet. And as I get to the top, I see a building about this size and the door is open, this airtight door. It's about that thick, and the walls that thick. And I said, what's that for? Oh, they said it's the safety room in case something goes wrong. What could go wrong? Oh, no, don't worry about that. And so we walk around the gantry a little and look down, it's 11 flight, and that's it. We walk back down, and I get back in the Rivian, we're driving back to where we are residing, and I'm thinking, why? Why did they invite me here? And then I think, of course, they're waiting to see if the old man can walk up 11 flights. It was a test, and I was there a day early. So then everybody comes the next day, and the rehearsals, the practice. You can't practice weightlessness. Even going into a swimming pool is not weightlessness, really. So they said there's going to be a little ledge here for your feet, and then the chair is way back like this, and a 5-point harness. So it got into the shoulders, it got into the waist, but this, trying to get the crotch one in, couldn't find the hole, which was a problem. And I never did. Even when we got up there, I never was able to get the crotch strap in. And then was the moment of truth. We walk out, and there is this vehicle that's gas is escaping, like venting. Like you walk by and there's gas coming out. It's hydrogen. Wait a minute. I remember all those documentaries about the Hindenburg. Remember the thing? Oh, the humanity of it all, the humanity. The guys coming and people running, little figures are running to escape the burning hydrogen. And that's what they got in the vehicle. And I get in, and I strap myself in and can't find the crotch. And the countdown begins. And the guy's saying, T-minus 20 and 19, T-minus. Oh! There's an anomaly. What's it? An anomaly means it shouldn't be there. It's me. I'm the anomaly. I shouldn't be here. Okay, great. The anomaly's gone, and they continue the countdown. And this is God's truth. The guy said, T-minus 17. All right, we're removing the gantry. Anybody who wants to go should go now. Okay, this is my I can't go, I'm Captain Kirk. So I stayed, and the thing lifts off, and it's like an elephant sitting on your chest with the G-forces, and then suddenly it's gone. And we passed the Kármán line, which is the designated line where you're in space above the Kármán. We're in space and we're floating. And you can get out of the for me it's the 4-point harness. 4-point harness, and the others are floating around, congratulating, and oh my, we're done. And all I was there for was to see space, the final frontier. We don't do that here. I'm floating, and I float to the window because I want to see what is out there. Now, like yourselves who are here because of your interest in the people who are here, and maybe some of you are here because of Star Trek, I have, by natural interest and by professional interest, been curious about what's happening in space, the fulminating forces of space, the stars, the galaxies, the universe, the power that propels, the energy that propels the universe. I'm curious, and I've studied, and I was with Neil deGrasse. Somebody wants to order I'm sorry about that. Just as I was going for the window to look into space. So I'm curious about space. And I go to the window, I look up, and I look out this way is the direction we're going, and I see black. Black! It's not filled with stars and moons and energy and throbbing planets. It's black, the color of death. It's death. There's death. That's death right there. Freezing, what, 350 degrees below zero? That's death. You're dead. Look back, and I see the blue and the white and the beige of the Texas desert. That's life. That's life down there. Wow. And I think, how fragile what I'm looking at, this little rock with 12,500 feet of oxygen and maybe a handful of dirt that's arable, that given off by the rocks, by erosion of the rocks, by the volcanic rocks that were there originally and the meteorites that hit it. This little rock. And this handful of earth that we're destroying, and water. And I didn't realize it until I landed. But when I landed, I was sobbing. I'm thinking, why am I crying? And there's all these cameras on. I'm on national television. Wow, that's not a Captain Kirk thing. Or is it? So I came off the ship and sobbing and not understanding why I was crying until hours later when I realized I was in grief for our planet. I was in grief for the harm I know that we've done and are anxious to correct, but doing it very slowly. And that was the lesson I learned. It wasn't about the universe. It was about how fragile our planet is. And that was my life-changing experience.